piece of meat.
Let's get somewhat tipsy, dog.
I love that love piece of me part. Gets me every time. Gets me every time. Back again for another episode.
We are. I was rummaging through my closet.
Yeah, I saw you pull. I'm sorry, I saw you pull up and get out of your car. I'm like, what are you wearing? Are we playing basketball, or are we going on a show?
So I didn't realize until I saw on camera the farmer's tan that I've been rocking. I guess I haven't worn a tank top in a while.
But the Jordan jersey from the Wizards makes up for it all.
Yeah, man, I found this in my closet. And I probably bought this, and God, I might have been in high school when Jordan was on the Wizards. So it's been that old.
No, it had to have been after that.
I don't know. I remember buying this from J.C. Penney. So I don't know. But I was like, man, I got to rock the Jordan Wizards jersey. You don't see
we
those
just need to
anymore.
rock this tan a little bit more.
I know. I'm gonna have to take my shirt off when we're out outside.
Okay, I'm not coming in that day. I am not coming in that day. But I'm excited for today's show because we have a special guest on, Richie from Craft Cartel. It's out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He does a lot of craft cocktails, mobile bartending. He's got a couple of flavors out that I think are really going to intense the market on what we do. They're on Amazon right now. And Richie, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me, man. It's a pleasure.
So I first saw you on, it's got to be Instagram. I was scrolling and then I became a fan. I liked your videos and I was like, I want to have this guy on. Like, you were very forward about, I watched your vodka one about the crappy brands and the better vodkas and, you know, why you're buying this and why you're buying that. And it was very interesting. You're very forward about it and I like it. You're not pussyfooting around something that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. That is kind of my lane, but it comes very naturally. I was raised by a single mom in the Northeast, a lot of dirty mouth, foul mouth women that raised me, so my mom used to say when I was a kid, always be you. If people don't like it, fuck them, right? So that's kind of my mentality. That's what I sort of take to social media. But I've also been in and around the industry now for about 23 years, and something I see in the world today is just marketing tricking a lot of people into buying what is otherwise just complete dog shit. And we have that in the liquor industry as much as any other industry does. So,
because Grey Goose is a name. It's an okay vodka, but it's a name.
Yeah, and that's not to say that Grey Goose absolutely sucks, right? Like, I don't want people to take it like, do not drink this. What I want people to do is understand that marketing is kind of meant to trick you, right? It's meant to tell a story that kind of elevates the brand, and it also elevates the price. So the point I try to make with those types of videos is there's a lot better products that you could be out there buying from, quite honestly, very genuine and wholesome people, right? A lot of these bigger brands with those massive budgets, which is why you know of them, they're just owned by, large corporations, right? Shareholders, equity firms, things like this.
But don't
there's brands out there where people have been doing this for decades, with their family, and they don't have those marketing budgets, so you don't know about them. You pass by their bottles on the aisle, but the reality is you're actually passing by a product that's a lot better than most of the big names that you recognize.
Doesn't it seem like most of them sell out though eventually?
Look at
Tito. Look at Tito's. Look at Tito's. The whole crap cock. The whole
handmade.
Handmade in
the garage.
Handmade garage in Texas, and here it is now. They sold out. I don't even think it tastes the same anymore.
That's a good point you bring up because it's still on the fucking label, right? And that's the point. Like, I don't want people to take that shit literal because that's not the case anymore, right? Ironically enough, vodka is meant to be odorless and tasteless, so it also is kind of ironic that we sit here arguing about what's the best vodka when the whole intention is to taste and smell like absolutely fucking nothing. But it's kind of more about like the purity in it, right? Like, Grey Goose at $7.50 is probably going to cost you about $36, right? There's better vodka out there that you would save about 40%, 30% on, and I just think, give it a try, we can't, I don't want to always just see money and budgets win. That's my point. And to your point about always selling out, yeah, it does happen. Look, people grow businesses to eventually move on. It is what it is. We're not all trying to work till the day that we die, and I understand that. And that's all. I think as consumers, we just kind of have to pay attention to those things. Things do change in the process of making a product when they sell to larger corporations. That is just a fact. We have a lot of history that would prove that. So I don't know why people think it doesn't happen in the liquor industry, because it does.
So tell me a little bit about your craft cartel, like the mixers that you make. Are they alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
Non-alcoholic. So basically right now I launched 6 SKUs back at the beginning of May. And the reason I did this was a couple reasons. Number one, obviously I come from a craft cocktail background for a long time, right? I'm not a guy who just knows marketing and advertising.
So you've been in the business with bartending, running bars, clubs, hotels.
Yeah. When I was in college, when I was 18, started working in bars. Literally did everything from a dishwasher to a prep cook, busboy, food runner, waiter, then became a bar back, eventually became a bartender. And I've done that really ever since I was pretty much 18 years old. I've been connected in food, beverage, hospitality for a long time. And when I started Craft Cartel back in 2013, it was just because, I got married, saw that missing gap in the event industry. No one was really doing high-end cocktails. So I started doing it. Took a few years to really take off. For the last 10 years now, we probably do a couple hundred events, about 9 months out of the year down here in South Florida. But to really scale past that, I thought making consumer products was kind of my next lane. When I look at the world of home bartending ingredients, it sucks. It sucks. One of the biggest leaders in the space is probably Monin. And it seems like it's nothing more than brown sugar, white sugar syrup with food coloring and natural flavors. Nothing's made with layered flavors. It's just a strawberry syrup or a pineapple syrup or a grapefruit syrup made with fake ingredients, right? Most people don't even know, like, natural flavors are not even made from real compounds. They're just mimicked flavors, right? So it's not like they make a grapefruit natural flavor from some compound from a grapefruit. Not even a peel, no juice, nothing. So I only use real ingredients. That's it. If I use extracts, they're like high-end, amaretti, water-soluble extracts to layer in flavor like mint, Thai basil, cinnamon, clove, vanilla, etc. I'm always putting fresh juices in my bases of my syrup. So if it's grapefruit, pineapple, blueberry, passion fruit, whatever it is, it's all fresh, all natural juice. We do everything here in my warehouse. We hot bottle the syrup so that we get, good shelf life out of them as well. And we'll keep expanding on those flavors. My goal with this is to be the absolute best, most high-end home bartender brand in the world. And if you ask me why, it's 2 reasons. Everybody loves to talk about how the younger generation and everybody's drinking less these days. And sure, they are. But what we're not talking about is why. Everybody thinks that the whole world just got on a health and wellness kick. And that's bullshit. It's because the price of a drink is about $20, $22. I went to a baseball game the other day. It cost me $56 for 2 draft beers. $56. That's bananas. No wonder why people are not drinking, because I wasn't paying $28 a beer when I was in college.
So you think the Gen Zs aren't really drinking because of price more than it's...
That's what I think. Yeah. I mean, look, Gen Z doesn't drink like we drank when we were younger. I talk about this all the time. I drank Ice House, JD Spikes, fucking Zimas, which were like the original
I miss
OG
Zimas with the Jolly Rancher?
Yeah, Mickey, green grenades, like just dog shit, and we didn't mind, whatever. We weren't pretentious about it. Craft anything wasn't a thing back then. But now it's shifted. I think young people still want to drink, but they drink more for culture and socialization, not to get blacked out with your friends and pass out in the bathroom.
Because we went and bought a $10 well vodka jug and drank that between 6 of us, and that's how we got drunk. And now it's not $10 anymore, and they don't want a well vodka.
They're not doing that shit anymore. They're just not. So
I think the speakeasies and the higher end bars, I'm seeing more of the Gen Zers in there.
Listen, I think that it's because, again, they're not looking to get drunk. They're just looking to be in a social environment, be a part of the culture. But, I get it. Like, I'm 42 years old, man. I don't drink whiskey on the rocks anymore. I don't drink vodka sodas, tequila soda limes. I don't really drink beer much anymore. I don't even really touch seltzers. I drink wine and cocktails because I enjoy drinking those things.
What's your go-to? What's your go-to liquor when you go out? You and the wife go out to dinner, glass of wine, or are you having a cocktail?
If I'm out with my wife, just my wife, I'm drinking wine, usually. I just think, like, going out to dinner, especially with, like, your significant other, I just feel like wine kind of fits the mood. You know what I mean? My wife is also, like, still kind of breastfeeding, so wine is okay for her to consume. Like, she starts pounding tequila, it's going to be a weird night with the baby. So right now, I would say, like, in that environment, I would go with wine, but I am an avid searcher for good cocktail bars. I travel a lot, and whenever I'm in a new city, another place, country, I'm always looking for a cocktail bar. I love the ambiance, I love the vibe, but more than anything, I just love to see people's creativity.
And there's a lot coming out now. Like you said, when we were younger and we drank, it was to get drunk. It was there to party, get drunk, get laid, wake up.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
now
That was pretty much it.
yeah, now it's a generation that wants it to taste good. Wants
Yeah,
to
of course, they
enjoy
want it to
it.
taste good, and they want to still wake up the next day and go do fucking yoga and go for a 6-mile run,
Yeah.
things like just
We
like
never did that.
shit.
Could you imagine waking up when we were like, go for a 6-mile run at 7:30 in the morning after going out?
No, I didn't even I wouldn't even wake up till noon, and then the first thing I would do.
Noon? I'd say more like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd wake up and take a shot.
Yeah, I just think it's changed, and so I think the demand from the consumer has also changed. Like when I look at the landscape of those syrups and cocktail mixers, like I said to you guys, everything's one dimensional. So I don't when I do a grapefruit Paloma syrup, right? It's grapefruit, cinnamon, and vanilla because those flavors pair really well together. They bring out that citrus, from the grapefruit. It all just flows. Nothing overpowers each other. You hit it with a little fresh lime, ounce and a half reposado tequila, shake, strain, garnish, little grapefruit soda, and now you have a nice variation of a Paloma, right? Same with the passion fruit cayenne. It's a spicy passion fruit cayenne margarita with Thai basil, and you just hit it with lime and tequila, right? So people make margarita mixes, they have for a while, and they're made with just a bunch of garbage, right? And you don't need me to make you a margarita mix. It's lime and agave and fucking tequila. Like you can do that yourself.
Wait a minute, wait.
what
We have
I'm doing is
19
trying to
tequila.
give you that extra added layer of flavor, the creativity, without you buying $50 worth of ingredients and prepping for 40 minutes to make one cocktail. So that's what my intention is.
So is your goal to get it on the shelf in Publix, Walmart, Amazon, all that stuff, what you're doing, or is it to have the bars pick it up?
It's not. So actually, I do a different product for the bars, which is really cool. Here, let me grab a bottle because I want to physically show you what the difference is. Is that okay?
I'll give you my address. You can physically send it to me there too.
All right, hold on.
This is good. This is good. Like,
Yeah.
I think the different having one for the restaurants and having one at home is slightly different.
Yeah.
'Cause
I think you have to be, but I'm curious to see how. Like what the difference in making
So-
it is.
Here's the difference. So we have these two. This is what you see on Amazon, right? These are the syrup versions.
What do I get?
Hot bottled.
What do I get that for? How much do I pay on Amazon for that?
$22. Actually, it's Prime Week, so they're 20% off. So I
then
think
how
they're
many
around,
drinks-
$17.50.
How many
You can
drinks-
make 16 cocktails from this bottle.
So that right there, I pay $20 for it, $22 for it. I'm a little over $1.10
Yep.
to make a drink with
Exactly.
my favorite whiskey or my favorite tequila or whatever, which is a very,
Exactly.
very
You
good,
just need
which is
the
a very
lime
good
juice
price.
and the tequila, which a lot of people probably already have the liquor at home as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And fresh limes are not going to break the bank, Now, these are what I do for businesses, and I'll explain what the difference is. First off, the difference is obviously it's a different size bottle, right? This is a 750 milliliter bottle. This also is cold filled. So this is hot bottled for shelf stabilization. This needs to be refrigerated, okay? This one in particular is pineapple, cinnamon, clove. Fresh lemon juice is also in here as well. When a bartender needs to make a cocktail in a bar with this, they just put a pour spout on. They measure an ounce and a half whiskey. They shake, strain, and garnish. That's it. There's no adding fresh citrus. It's already in there. We high pressure process these bottles. So your refrigerated shelf life is 9 to 12 months unopened. When
wow.
you open it, it's 30 days, even though it's all fresh ingredients. There's no preservatives in here at all. And we actually do these customized as part of our consulting. So I can go into a business, I can build you an entirely new cocktail menu, charge you a fraction of the cost, right? Like most consultants are, let's say, 30 to 90,000. I could charge somebody about 5,000. Build you a completely custom cocktail menu. We HPP manufacture all of your mixers. The distributor drops them off to your location, and your staff just unscrews the top and measures an ounce and a half, shake, strain, garnish. Every time. You speed up service, you sell more cocktails, you take away prep work, you lower your labor costs. You're not flying through ingredients like that are going perishable and going bad. And you're solving a problem in the industry. That's a massive problem. Do you guys know what the turnover rate is in a restaurant?
I know
It's
what ours
over
is.
100%. So if I did consult for you and I built a cocktail program, all of the people that I trained would be gone in about 12 months.
Yep.
So I'll send you another invoice. I'll come back in and train your staff again. But with something like this, you don't need that. anybody who can measure an ounce and a half and an ounce and a half of liquor and shake, strain, garnish can do this, right? It's really easy. What's also cool is that they're very versatile. So I told you this was for whiskey, but actually one of my favorite cocktails to do with it is to shake it with mezcal. Put a little tahine rim on there, smoky pineapple, cinnamon clove, and fresh lemon. It's fucking delicious. So
I think we're gonna
really
have to order
cool
some
that
of
we're
these.
doing these.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else that's doing this in the country. There are people making cocktail mixers. Most of them make it with natural flavors and shelf stabilization. I'm not going that route. As a matter of fact, I use the perishable aspect as a selling point. If you want to know if it's real, just leave it on your counter and then open it tomorrow and it'll go like a geyser, right? Because it'll ferment. So really cool concept. I think, as we hopefully scale this across the country, man, I think we can change, the game of making cocktails available for anybody at any establishment. And just so you know where this comes from 13 years of doing events. High end, high volume events with massive open bars. Some days I got 7 weddings going on. I have 20 bartenders working for me for one day, and I need to make the cocktails consistent, streamlined, and easy to make. And this is exactly how I've done it. So now I've just made it available for everybody else.
Whether Bob, Susie, or Ted's making the cocktail, comes out the same way every time.
Every single time. And you know that word, consistency, is one of the biggest words we use in food and beverage and hospitality.
Well,
right?
that's what I was thinking. I'm like, you're selling consistency.
Right.
And that's
You're selling
huge.
consistency, but you're also selling what I call a integrated cocktail program, right? It's not that I do consulting. It's not that I build cocktails. You got to look at the whole spectrum here, right? This bottle I charge you max price, if you weren't ordering big volume, $32. You can make 17.5 cocktails. So that is roughly about $1.82 per cocktail. If you added the liquor, right, at about an ounce and a half, you're probably right around $3.50. Average cost of a craft cocktail in a major city ranges from 18 to $20. So that brings you to 20%. And I've been doing this long enough to know that 20% pour cost is actually really good if you're doing craft cocktails. Most craft cocktail bars are probably a little bit over that because of the cost of those fresh handcrafted
I'd say they're around
ingredients.
26, 27.
I was going to say
usually.
25 to 32% is what I've been in most of the craft cocktail bars.
Exactly. So I think it has the ability to speed up your service, create consistency, helps with your turnover rates. You're not stocking 70 ingredients to execute 10 cocktails, right? You're just buying 10 different SKUs or however many SKUs you want to use, right? We do these for a bunch of different hotels, catering services, banquet services. I even sell to a couple cocktail bars that use these on their happy hour menus because it's just easy to pump out. It's fast. It's easy to wrap your head around the cost and price out your cocktails, right? I'm always amazed by how many bar owners and managers don't even know the cost to make every cocktail on their menu. Some of them don't even really know how to figure that out. So this makes it a lot easier. And like I said, nobody else is doing something like this. So this is the thing I'm super excited for. This is a B2B thing, Eventually, I would love to see these on a Total Wine shelf because I think it's really cool that there's the same amount of cocktails in this that there is in this. And when you go to the liquor store and you buy this, right, you still need something to mix it with. And if you could walk over to a refrigerator and see a fucking stack of these in all sorts of different flavors and choose the one you want to go home and mix with, I think that's really cool. And I think that kind of changes the face of like how we enjoy cocktails at home, at parties. But more than anything, it makes it available to everybody, right? So that's really cool. And these, like I said, it's easier to get these all over the country right now because Amazon's basically America's largest distributor, and they're shelf stable, right? And the same things, like I do a pineapple, cinnamon, clove syrup, and then I do the 750 high pressure process, right? So we do 2 versions, basically.
Does it taste different? Is there a big taste
A
difference?
little bit. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that hot bottling something is going to taste as good as cold bottling. No way. When you heat up fresh juice, it's going to lose some of that vibrance and nutrient, right? Which is why when I was doing this, HPP was the way. If it wasn't high pressure process, I didn't want to do it. That was it. So that's what took me so long because I had to test a lot of parameters of what's in this bottle to make sure that it would work. Because this is 25 bricks, just so you understand, right? Everything that's in this bottle, 25 bricks, pH is below 3. So when you go to shake this with liquor and ice, it's going to dilute it down to like 14, right? bricks, which is kind of right in that range, 14, 15 of where you want that balanced cocktail. So I had to mess with that a lot, and I had to do a lot of shelf life testing and testing on the bottles to make sure that they would hold up and things like that. So do I think this tastes a little bit better than this? Yes, I do. But that's not to say, I mean, I still, not just because I own the product, but I do think this is one of the best cocktail syrups that are out there, honestly, because nobody does these like combinations of flavors. Like I said, Monin does hundreds of millions of dollars in sales a year, and it's like a prickly pear syrup that doesn't have prickly pear. You know what I mean? It's just purple dye and white sugar syrup and a flavoring agent, right? Like I'm not doing that, and I'm layering flavors. So you get spice, you get basil, you get passion fruit, and then you get the citrus from the lime juice, and you get all that vegetal agave from the actual tequila that you shake it with. So, I'm approaching this from a true cocktail artist position, not just a guy creating interesting labels and brand.
Now, and you did something. You said you do the private events and the parties. You do something I've noticed, God, in the past 20 years of employing bartenders, I've noticed at least a couple every year are leaving the industry to go do mobile bartending and to do this, and it never works out. You actually figured out a way to make it successful where you can do it, where everyone I've ever seen fail at.
I've known 3 people this year that have went to mobile bartending.
Yeah.
Started a business and done it, and all of a sudden you see them back at the restaurant 6 months later.
Every time.
So you've done a great job of
I think it's a combination of things. I think, number one, honestly, man, people think that this is just a bar on wheels, and it's not. And I think that everybody who's trying to get into this needs to understand that the event industry is not the bar and restaurant industry. I'm going to give you one fact that's going to make you understand this. When you go to show up to open your shift at a bar, everything you need is fucking right there. Yep. It's right there. It's in an arm's reach, okay? What I do is load a fucking 1-bedroom apartment into a truck, right? We prep, we got to order, we got to receive, we got to do all that shit, load it all into a truck, go to an event, unload everything, set up, finish the event, load it all back in, come back here, unload everything, clean it, wash it, put it all fucking back, reset that mess again. And that, and the also, like, you have to do this at scale. Like, you need to have a willingness to be comfortable with the chaos a little bit. I'm not doing one event a day. I told you, like, I think my busiest day ever was like 7 events in one day, right? That's a lot, and I take on big shit. I just did an 850 person event like 2 weeks ago.
What's
right?
What's the biggest name event you've done? You've done massive parties.
Probably my biggest client of the year is I do the Miami Club for Mercedes for Formula One weekend here in Miami for 3 days. So that's about 600 people per day. Obviously a massive client. It's on the grounds of Formula One. I staff all the bars. I do all the cocktails, different cocktails at each bar. We prep all the handcrafted ingredients. We do all the batching, everything, right? And then I kind of work with them for logistics of like, bar setups and things like this. But I've done all sorts. I mean, I've done events with Adidas, Nike, Jordan brands, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, you name it, man. I've done a bunch of stuff, for a bunch of high-end clients. And we do a lot of corporate stuff too. So, Goldman Sachs, I've done events for them. Miami's a very event-driven city.
Oh, yes.
And that could be the other reason why a lot of people don't have success here. I am fortunate. I am in an event-driven market. Not everybody around the country is. So you need to identify where you are and understand what you can sell in those areas, right? I can kind of sell a varietal. I got high-end kids parties. I got a bunch of rich people who just like to do parties. I got corporate events. I have obviously these things like Formula One, food and wine, boat show, all these things, right? That are just constantly going on through the year, polo tournaments, you name it. And let's face it, every event needs a bar. And, it's like, do they have the budget and willingness to do good cocktails? I don't know. That's on them. But if they do, they usually call me.
Who's the biggest guy you've made a cocktail for? That one celebrity or football player, basketball player, hockey player you'll never forget?
The most memorable, and this is because I'm from New England, I remember years ago, a planner called me, and it was a last-minute request, and she needed me to go do a little small gathering at Big Poppy's house. So I got to go to David Ortiz's house, and having him walk over to me at his kitchen island and shake my hand and introduce himself to me, like, it just brought back a lot of childhood memories, you know. Like I'll never forget that guy's World Series run with the Red Sox when he helped us break the curse, and it was a legendary thing. So you know, in my mind, like him and like you know, I've never been in the same room with Tom Brady, but that would be the one I would like kind of lose my shit with, you know. Like those are two men that just like you know, I'm a sports fan and they play an intricate part in my young adult life, you know. So, that was really cool.
Was he a cool guy?
Yeah, he was super nice, man. And it's like, you know, he's got that fucking hilarious Dominican accent, you know. It was cool. It was just a little thing. It's like him and like 8 of his buddies, man, just mainly hanging outside, smoking cigars, drinking rum and stuff. He loved the cocktails and you know, I thought it was just cool. It was cool like leaving the house and shaking his hand saying goodbye, you know. It was a cool moment.
Did you have your product there?
No, that was a long man. That was before I had a single full-time employee. You know, that was like this business for a while was me just going out doing these events, calling my friends in the industry.
Hey, you want to bartend next Friday?
Yeah,
I need a bartender.
Yeah,
give you $100
more money than they would make at their establishment on a Friday, Saturday night. Come out and do these events with me, and that's what it took for a while. You know, that's the other thing. The event industry, man, it's you know, you don't just like start a brand and then just start running ads and shit, you know, and people just come through the door like they can in a restaurant. It doesn't work that way. You have to earn the reputation. Like these clients I'm telling you I do events for today, I didn't do events for those people back in the day. You know, like I had to do the bare minimum shit and prove myself. And then in this industry, word of mouth and, you know, people passing your information along, that's how you get a lot of business, you know. And then you go out, you do it, you prove yourself, and then you'll start to gain that reputation, you know. And I spent, you know, a lot of people popped up in COVID, like you said, and I get it. Everybody wants to make that shit happen in a year. Just so everybody understands who's listening to this and wants to do cocktail catering, I worked a full-time fucking job and ran a bar at the highest grossing per square foot restaurant in the country for 3 fucking years before I completely worked by myself in Craft Cartel. So I did the double dip shit. I switched my days off to go do events. Some weeks I worked 7 days, and this was right after I got married. So for the youngins who think that you can just start something and jump right to the top, well, you're in the wrong industry, in the event industry, if you think that that's going to happen. Your bartending reputation isn't going to do shit for you in this industry. It's a grind. It is what it is. But eventually, kind of like going to the gym, your muscles get bigger as you keep working the fuck out, right? So the same thing happens in the event industry. And then I started to get those big opportunities. The ironic part is the biggest opportunities for me came in 2020 because the Super Bowl was here in Miami. That was in February. And then what happened the next month? The whole fucking world crashed, right? So my business took off. I just had a baby girl. I just bought a new fucking Tesla. I bought my house. And then I lost every event I had for the rest of the year. And I thought I was fucked. But I did something not a lot of people did, and I doubled down on social media. You know, I rebuilt my website. I focused on optimization for Google searches because the one thing I knew is people would still get married again. And when all that shit came back, I got so flooded with business for the next 3 years, it kind of just changed my life. You know, like it was no longer about doing this myself. I needed video editors and administrative assistants and full-time guys in the warehouse doing prep shit and loading and all this other stuff, you know? So it just takes time.
How many's on your team now? Between the production,
4.
Between the production,
just 4 of us. Yeah, because most of a lot of those guys that do the events just get contracted to come out and do the events,
Gotcha.
right? So, but I have some guys here that work in the warehouse that do all the prepping, loading, unloading, batching, ordering, all that stuff. They'll also help me staff events, and then I have an administrative assistant because it's probably the most important thing you need. Because just the volume of proposals, back and forth emails, events are a lot of details. This is the other thing, that differs from like restaurants. It's like you have a finite amount of details. Sometimes an event that I'm doing is 80 back and forth emails, right? And if I'm juggling like 15 different events, 25 different events that month, I can't handle all that. So you got like an admin assistant is really important. And then the video editor, because that's how I market my brand, right? And anybody who does this shit knows that the video editing is the most time-consuming aspect of content creation. So those are the positions I have right now. And I just have another guy who I brought on specifically just for the mixers. So like, he's just helping me out with, meetings and following up on a lot of those meetings to really try to get these moving, through different establishments in South Florida area.
It's a day and age where everyone thinks overnight success happens,
Well,
so
because
easily.
somebody sings on YouTube and somebody finds them, and then all of a sudden they think they're famous overnight.
Yeah.
But that's not the world.
I think it's this. I also think, it's the effects of living in a digital world where information sharing happens immediately. And what happens is it curbs our personalities to expect everything to happen right away.
Yep.
It's like the world has become impatient because everything is about getting everything to us faster, right? Like we're talking about Amazon. What makes Amazon magical is that they'll get everything to you sometimes that fucking day or like the next day, right?
Yep.
This is what we're programmed to expect. I won't buy products on Amazon sometimes if they're not on Prime.
Yeah,
Like
I'm the same
if you
way.
don't get it to me in 48 fucking hours, then I'm not buying it, right? What do you mean July 1st? Bullshit, right?
July 10th, you're like, what?
Yeah, 6 days. What the fuck is that? So like, it's like anybody got no time for that. And I think this is how we have become programmed, and it's sad, it sucks, but we can always catch ourselves, and for me, I just come from that generation where I didn't grow up in that my whole life, right? So I understand a world that existed before all this social media, information sharing, and everything happening at a rapid pace,
Yep. Hard work. It pays off.
Yes, it does. Yes. Hard work, time, patience, diligence, And by the way, you get better that way, like you become like stronger and better at what you do by, spending more and more time really working out that craft. A lot of people just want to start a fucking brand and, just make content, put up a link and sell product, but then they're just selling shit product, right?
Yep.
That's how I see it. So
Like
I said, I spent 2 years doing this before I sold a bottle, 2 fucking years of my life working on this. Not every day, but, just as the natural flow of my life happened,
Yeah, we learned a lot. We're in the process of coming out with a Tipsy tequila brand, for the podcast. But in the making of the tequila, one thing that blew my mind, the most expensive thing, like we can make a quality tequila at not a expensive price at all. The bottle was the most expensive price in the whole process. And then I saw your video about the Clase Azul and all that, and I was like, yeah, it's the bottle. That's the price tag's inflated because the bottle's
The
expensive.
tequila's $2 and the bottle's $17.
Yeah, the liquid in the bottle's super cheap,
and it could be
good.
And it's got a bell on the top.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I mean, in that particular case, the bottle doesn't even justify the price.
No.
Like we also have to just accept that like certain people are able to tell enough of a story, build enough of a brand, and just as a result of that, they can sell you the same thing somebody else does for just a higher price. Like we see it all the time, right? Zara will sell you a t-shirt for $20. Louis Vuitton will sell it to you for $1,100 fucking dollars. Like, I mean, there ain't a difference in those fucking shirts.
Nope.
Still made in China, still made by the same person. One's got it's a logo. It's a logo and a brand.
Dude.
That's it.
Exactly. And it's a lot of people don't realize like 80% of the fucking tequila brands you see on the shelf, man, they don't make their tequila, right? There's actually only like 5 or 6 fucking single estate tequila brands in 2,500 brands, right? So they're made by a nom house. That nom's making fucking a tequila. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people don't understand this. This is kind of where I think some of the additives come into play, right? Because you put additives in there to kind of create a flavor profile specific to a brand, right? Because that nom that you're making your tequila at, they might make 10 fucking different brands, right? And I think people are naive enough sometimes to think that they're making 12 different fucking versions of tequila.
No.
They're not, So, yeah, it's not the juice. I actually laugh sometimes because I'm like, tequila's made from 3 ingredients, right? In a very standard process for the most part. But everybody's ripping it apart like fucking there's such drastic differences coming out of every bottle, Maybe there is if they're using like, I don't know, heavy additives, sure, because you can create a very heavy profile of like oak or vanilla or something like this. But I think in the general spectrum of things, when I'm talking to brands a lot, I think, I don't know, it's just, I think they get it wrong. I think everybody is always talking liquid to lips. It's like, the reality is most people don't drink liquor straight out of a bottle. That's the reality. Okay. So what I would do if I was a liquor brand is I would focus on this pairing. Because if I hand somebody a good cocktail, and they go, "What's the tequila in this?" And then I tell them, they go, "Ooh, that's good."
Yeah.
People, I think, forget sometimes with brand ownership and spirits what people associate something being good, right? Like I was doing a festival a few weeks ago, so this is a good example. And we're making it with this, as a matter of fact, this exact mixer. And we're making a tequila cocktail. And the girl comes up to the bar and she says, "What's the tequila that you were using?" And I was like, "Honestly, I've never heard of this." And I picked up the bottle, I looked at it, and I was like, "Coco Loco." She's like, "Oh, it's good, huh? This cocktail is great." And I was like, "Honestly, no. That tequila is probably absolutely dog shit." But
I made
you're
it taste
drinking it in
good.
a cocktail with all other good ingredients, so you're like, "Ooh, the cocktail tastes good." So your natural assumption is the tequila is good, right?
Yep.
So this is really interesting because, like, I just see brands like standing in liquor stores at fucking 12 in the afternoon, pouring some 55-year-old lady straight tequila, thinking she's gonna pick out these fucking nuances that you're spilling her. You know, like, "Oh, do you taste the citrus and agave and the clove notes and that little bit of?" It's like, no, that's not. She
I
just tastes
taste warm
fire.
fucking
It
tequila.
burns.
Burning down her fucking throat. You know, and it's just. So, it's funny because we started this whole thing and you were like, "Oh, I came across your content and I saw the way this guy was talking and I liked him." This is how I am, like not everybody's going to like what I have to say, but I think people got to understand that like a lot of my opinions are formulated from also being the consumer. It's
Well,
not
you've
just
been
from
there
being
long
an
enough.
arrogant business owner, right? Who's so caught up in his own fucking idea. And this is what I see in the spirit world. I'm sorry. We forgot that people don't buy products. They buy fucking culture.
Yep.
Okay. And I always use Jordan brand sneakers as the example. Young kids buying Jordans who've never watched them play basketball a day in their life. So it ain't about the jump man. It's the culture the shoe represents on your feet.
Yep.
And if people think that these agave shirts don't do the same thing, then just look at Casa Amigos and Clase Azul and 1942 because they proved it. They fucking proved that it was a cultural thing. I was doing events and watching guys pull $8,000 bottles, black beaded mezcal, fucking Clase Azul, showing it off to his friends, so proud. Inside, I'm laughing because I'm thinking that's shit mezcal and he paid like $8 grand. Like he's proud of it. And he's peacocking about it. He's peacocking because you know this as well as I do. We love to flex status, especially in America, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's better watches than a Rolex, but why the fuck do you wear a Rolex? Because the guy at the table next to you knows it's a Rolex, and so he has an idea of what you paid for it. Like, that's the reality. We want people to know that something we have is expensive, so we want the thing that they know is expensive by visual representation, because then it creates the status that we must be wealthy, successful, and must be smart, right? It's fucking stupid. It's literally dumb. What's smart is knowing your shit, right?
Yeah.
Instead of an $8,000 bottle of fucking dog shit mezcal, you drink Del Maguey, Chichi Capa, because you know that fucking Ron Cooper is the reason that we all fucking enjoy mezcal today, right? He's the OG. And what these guys do is truly artisanal and exceptional. That's the smart move. The
That's
dumbass
what we
buys
have
the
in our
$8,000
bar.
bottle. You know?
That's what we have in our bar.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, it's all, and they do, and all the single villages they do, and there's tons of them. Alipus, Manta Santa, Real Minero. Like there's so many, El Hogorio, and I say these names to most people, and they don't know, but they know Casamigos has a fucking mezcal. They know Clase Azul makes one. They know Illegal.
Well,
It's
our distiller for the Tipsy tequila, Kylie Jenner's tequila is made by them. Like, it's the same shit. It's not there's not much difference. It's all in the bottle. It's all in the presentation. It's all in the marketing.
Branding and the marketing. That's it.
That's all it is.
Yeah, branding, marketing, story, culture. Do you guys know the story of Grey Goose? Like the whole Sidney Frank thing, right? Like when he came out with Grey Goose, it was like he tells his team asks where they're going to source the vodka from, and he says France. But at this time, it's like all the best vodka in the world's made in like Eastern Europe, right?
Yep.
So like Poland, Russia, Ukraine, right? And his team says to him like, well, the only problem is Sidney, like they don't make vodka in France. And Sidney's response is, we're not selling vodka. We're selling ooh la la in a bottle. You understand? the what France represents is luxury, high status, elegance. And what people think about with Russia, Ukraine, and Poland is like rain, cold, and fucking gray. Even the name. I tell people this all the time when I'm doing like cocktail classes. Like imagine if you called it Gray Pigeon instead of a fucking goose, Like how much success would that name have had? So
Gray
it's all
Pigeon.
frost
Not
and
at all.
pop. You know, the tall frosted bottle was a one of its kind at that time, you know? And he created the pay to play system. They walked into bars and fucking paid New York bartenders. Every time someone orders the vodka martini, pour a Grey Goose, right?
Yep.
So you get that household name, Goose and Soda, please, because you gave shitloads of product away, you spent a lot of money, and you created this fucking story.
Just like
right?
Red Bull, not an alcoholic beverage. They gave it away for years, didn't make any money, lost money, and now you can never ask for a drink without Red Bull, even if it's Monster or it's another energy drink. It's always something in Red Bull.
Yeah, but you know what's fascinating about them? It's like when we think of Red Bull, right? I don't even think about the fucking drink. I just think about intensity. I think about intense sports. Formula One, skydiving, snowboarding. Like these fucking guys don't even have a can of their drink posted on anywhere on their Instagram feed.
They
It's
don't.
like,
They don't sell. They
and I
sell
don't even
fun
know
and
who the fuck
excitement.
drinks Red Bull. I don't know where any of the money comes from, but they are everywhere. They're at every major event and any sort of intense sports, anything they're involved in. So why do they do this? Because they're culture driven. They're not driven by a fucking energy drink. It's the culture that Red Bull represents that gets people to know what that brand is. They're effectively a marketing firm. That's what they are.
Yeah.
They don't make a fucking energy drink. They actually don't make an energy drink, right? It's an outsourced company in Austria that makes Red Bull, always has been. They didn't even invent it. They found it in fucking Japan.
Yeah,
He
two
just
guys
carbonated it.
Two
That's
guys.
all he did.
Yep, two guys and went over there, found it, brought it over here, and it was a marketing company basically.
Exactly. But hey, am I knocking them? Am I drinking Red Bull? No. But am I knocking you? Fuck no.
No.
Because I as a business owner, I have admiration. Even with Grey Goose and Sidney Frank, I say it like there's better vodka you can drink, but kudos to Sidney Frank. Seriously,
Yeah.
because what he did, it was genius, it was smart, and he understood the game. And crazy enough, a lot of spirit brands start today and they don't have a fucking clue how this industry works. They do not understand how heavy of a boulder they are trying to push up a very steep hill. And that's why they don't make it, you know? Truth is, probably most people don't make it because they don't have enough financial runway.
No.
You know, the three-tier system is going to annihilate your revenue and profit margins. Annihilate it. And it makes it really difficult to be successful in this industry. Hence why I've been doing this for 23 years and I don't own an alcoholic spirit brand. I own non-alcoholic brands. Less red tape, less bullshit, you know? That's the truth.
So what's next in your marketing brand? Because I see you talking about all these different partnerships and things like that. What are you talking to? Anybody in particular? Are you trying to partner up with somebody in the alcohol industry?
I mean, I have things like in the works. I mean, right now, what my goal is, like I said, is to really build out this strong at-home bartender brand through Amazon. You know, I want to expand on more SKUs of syrups. I have another new one launching next month. It's going to be a dark cherry, Valencia orange clove, old fashioned syrup. That's going to have some Emmanuel Tiki bitters in there as well. So just a really cool thing that people can use to make variations of old fashions at home. Just add in your whiskey. That's it. So we'll keep developing more and more SKUs. I already have more flavors on deck, like guava and rosemary, charred orange and vanilla margarita. So there's a lot of cool stuff that we're working on there. And then we'll eventually expand into, I used to do a lot of bitters back in the day, but like really cool shit like ripe vine tomato bitters, soursop bitters, you know, jackfruit bitters, homestead bitters. I used to just go to Homestead and buy seasonal fruit and make my own in-house bitters out of it. And then exotic dehydrated fruits, things like this, right? That's what I really want to get to. We're going to do some smaller bottles as well. So we're going to start doing like margarita packs or martini packs, right? So there'll be like small 4 or 5 ounce bottles, 3 or 4 in each pack, and then you'll be able to make all sorts of variations of margaritas with different flavors. We'll start doing monthly memberships on Amazon as well, where people will get reoccurring products. We're obviously looking to move these all across the country, do customized SKUs for a lot of large accounts. And then the other thing I'm kind of working on right now is sort of a combination of why I'm doing these things, right? So I think anti-drinking culture we'll look back and we'll realize that it was one of the most socially damaging things we did as human beings. And I say this not to promote what I do for a living. I say this because I went to bars as a young man to socialize. That's what they were created for, you know? It wasn't a fucking drinking hole for you to go get shit-faced, you know? Everybody who's ever bartended knows that we are trained to responsibly serve people. And we are really, truly responsible for their well-being. So the purpose of going to a bar is not to get blacked out drunk. Even though that does happen, that's not the reason. We're there to be social, right? And young people today are suffering from a lack of socialization, especially in person, because we've substituted every in-person relationship with a fucking app.
To an app.
Like, you don't need to grind anymore to build a business, because if you can just pick the right crypto coin or just bet on the right thing on Kalshi, you'll be good. You don't need meaningful relationships anymore. You could just go to Pornhub, right? And you don't need to fucking go socialize and try to meet girls, because you could just get a dating app on your phone.
Slide into some DMs.
Swipe it, right? Or DMs, yeah. So it's like, I just think that, like, I want to, I do these, I'm starting to get back into running again, right? And so I started looking into these run clubs, and I realized that run clubs are not about running, okay? The people that go to run clubs are not going because of the running. They go because of the socialization. So then it made me think, if the running is just the excuse to bring people with a common interest together, why can't we do that with cocktails, food, and beverage, right? Like, why can't we do this? Like, why can't I have a craft cartel social club that meets once every other week at another local establishment here in South Florida? And if this works, by the way, I can do this around the country. I can do this around the fucking world, right? And people don't know this, but I also own a team building company. So before I got to Miami, I used to work for Club Med for many years. I spent my days as an MC on a microphone. I have a company called Miami Social, and I do corporate team building events. I literally build and organize and MC and execute corporate team building events for anywhere from a 50-person group to like 500 people, right? So I have an expertise of directing human beings to partake in icebreaker activities and all this other shit. And obviously I've worked in front of people my whole life, so being social is a natural thing. So I want to do these like social club gatherings where we bring people in, we do all sorts of cool activities. I can get brands to do sponsorship, give some free product, right? We can do drink specials at the restaurant. So the bar and restaurant where we're hosting this, or distillery or brewery, they're going to make good money because they're selling us product for a cheap price that they didn't have to pay for because we got it donated, right? The brands who are sponsoring it, they get their brand in front of people who are actual cocktail enthusiasts. I can build my personal brand by building that community, right? I can throw my cocktail mixers in there to make cocktails, all sorts of shit. But really, it's not about money. I like to meet people, and I like to travel. And I think other people do too. And I think that we need more of this shit, And if I could eventually do that, like I said, across the country, maybe even internationally. Right now I take brand trips and I go down to Mexico, Oaxaca, the Caribbean, and I visit rum distilleries, tequila, mezcal distilleries. And I'm like, man, why can't we do this with, like, we find a travel company, we get them to deal with all the logistics. The brand helps us with some logistics as well. People pay a certain price to go down there. I'm the host. And now we go for 6-7 days. It's a combination of spirit education, distillery tours, and food and beverage experiences, right? Like, there's world-renowned cocktail bars everywhere. And getting to visit those and experience it, I think, gets us back to that place of understanding how to socialize. Like, I asked my own followers and they're like, dude, I'd love to go to this. I'm just a little introverted. And I'm like, well, that's the fucking point. You're introverted because you sit at home all fucking day. You know what I mean? Like, you work from a computer, So that's kind of the thing I'm giving some serious thought to, and trying to, to do, and just really grow what people know of me on social media. I think at the end of the day, what I want people to be able to say when they say, oh, who is Richard Moniz? I want people to answer that question with, he's the guy that knows and understands more about hospitality psychology than anybody on social media, right? And that's my best content, really hits that. Like the vodka video you mentioned, I actually did a tequila version of that did 22 million views, right?
Yep.
But you know what I realized when analyzing that? It wasn't about the tequila. The video wasn't even about tequila. That's not why it went viral. It went viral because it was actually about human behavior. Mm-hmm. It was about how people flex status, buy bullshit to flex status to other people. That's what it was about. Because I remember the Rolex comment got the most, like, stir up in the comment section. Because you could see, like, some people understood that analogy and other people just got pissed because they wear a Rolex. You understand? Like, that's all social media marketing is. It's just understanding human psychology. And I understand human psychology through the lens of hospitality really fucking well. because I've been doing it for 23 years of my life. I haven't hid behind a computer screen. I've just been in front of people forever, and I've watched them do all sorts of crazy shit. And so, you really start to understand the makeup of people when you're in those environments, for so long. And so that's what content I post that does the best is when I'm talking about people through the lens of hospitality.
Yeah, I think I learned more being behind a bar about people than any other thing I've done in my life because you dealt with every single kind of person.
You're a therapist. That's why I call you a therapist.
You're a therapist.
I mean, that's why the whole name "You're a Therapist" was like
therapist that can make drinks, memorize recipes. I say it a lot. I think restaurant employees are very overlooked because I think there's a lot of tremendously valuable skills that we learn in the industry. You learn to think quick on your feet, right? You learn to perform under pressure. Like you learn how to solve problems on the fly. You learn how to juggle a multitude of responsibilities and things going on at once. Any good server or bartender knows this. Like, you got someone's order in your mind while you're taking another order, while you're simultaneously making a fucking drink for somebody down at the end of the bar, while pulling a fucking service bar ticket, looking at that. Like, good bartenders are ambidextrous. You're using both of your hands. You're stirring 2 cocktails at one time while you fucking shake another and taking somebody's food order, right? Like,
and getting yelled at by the kitchen.
Like, not a lot of people spend all day, years and years of their life operating like that, Like, I did a video about this, and you guys know, like, in the restaurant industry, we have our own language. Corner, hot, fire,
Behind.
turd, right? Like, we fucking have this because we operate under such a fast-paced environment. We don't even have time for full sentences.
86.
So we came up with single words.
Or numbers. Remember, 86 this. And it's like, you can't even say, hey, we're out of.
Yeah, outside of the industry, nobody understands what the fuck that even means, So we've done this because it's necessary in the nature of the environment that we work in. And it's just funny because most people look at us as just, oh, you know how to shake drinks. Oh, you can take orders. Oh, you pick up dirty plates off the table. It's like, yeah. Okay, and you just punch fucking squares on a keyboard. What the fuck are we talking about here, right? So it's idiotic that's what a lot of people think. And also, to play devil's advocate, a lot of restaurant employees are also underestimating themselves and underestimating the opportunities to learn that are right in front of their fucking face, and it's a shame, but
it is because I think emotionally or just mentally, I think it mentally taxes people and, it emotionally abuses them and to the point where I think it does damage to a certain extent. It takes a certain person to be able to work in hospitality, especially in that fast pace. Not everybody can do it.
No, 100%. And especially for a long time, or a lot of people can maybe do it, but not do it in the way that genuine hospitality is meant to be, right? No. Like, what is genuine hospitality? It's like, you got to give a shit about that person's experience. When I was standing behind a bar, it would damage my soul if someone thought I sucked at my job. You understand? Like, that's how much I gave a shit, So every little detail, like, I used to give the example, like, when you reach into a cooler to grab a beer for somebody because they ordered a beer, and the bar back just recently stocked that, like, probably an hour ago, right? The beer at the front of the cooler is probably cold enough that if you grabbed it and handed it to him, he wouldn't say shit, right? But if you actually give a shit, you'll reach behind those to find the coldest fucking one and pull that out. Because you give a shit about that guy's experience, right? It isn't about the tip. It's about the sense of pride that you take in what you do, right? So I told you guys before, like, I travel. It's a big passion of mine. One of the most fascinating places where you can see this happen is Japan. And that's why I think everybody who goes to Japan is always blown away. Because the fucking trash man takes pride in being a trash man, Everybody takes such a sense of pride in what they do, which is why the end result is everything is so great. Everything you eat is fucking delicious. Everything you drink is delicious. Like, if you've gone to a 7-Eleven in Japan and then a 7-Eleven in America, you're wondering how the fuck this is the same company, right? This doesn't make any sense. And it's just because culturally, those people give a shit. They just care. They have a sense of pride in everything that they do. And here, it depends on what you do, right?
It's not
so a lot
trained
of people
anymore.
don't have pride working in the restaurant industry because they think they're beneath like standard society or some shit, you know, because we work for tips. It's nonsense, you know. I give up and sacrifice a lot more than probably most lawyers and accountants and fucking doctors do. How many holidays did you work?
Yep.
How many families did you serve while you were away from yours? You know, how many important dates did you miss? You know what I'm saying, in your life? Like, I went through all those things, you know? How many times did you not know how your bills were going to get paid, you know, in a few weeks? Like, this is the shit we go through, you know? And I think we build a pretty strong person in that process if you give a shit about what you do, you know? So kudos to the people in the industry who take this shit seriously, have a passion and a genuine care for like the hospitality they provide. And for everybody else, probably just best that you quit your fucking job and go do something else.
And how do you train that? How do you train that give a shit?
You can't.
Because
I don't think you could. No, you don't. You can't train give a shit. You can train someone to bartend. You can train someone to serve. You can train someone to hostess. But you can't train give a shit. It doesn't exist.
You might be
1 out of 100, maybe 1 out of 100.
I don't. You know, I think that that's kind of part of the interview process, right? Like, we got to kind of figure out how much you actually give a shit, right? Like, listen. At the end of the day, we all do jobs for money. Okay, I run a business for money. If I didn't make any money, I would not fucking do this, right? And you guys probably wouldn't do it either. So I get it. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing a job because you need to make money and pay bills. Totally understandable. But we got to have a sense of pride in that. If you really hate what you do, you should not do it.
No.
Because you're making yourself miserable, everyone you work with miserable, but worst of all, the paying customer, right? And I see it every day. Yeah, every day. I go to UPS to ship boxes, and it's like, you know, hey, would you like me to like put these back behind the counter so you don't have to like pick up all these boxes and shit? So, yeah, whatever. Okay, thank you guys. You know, it's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Somebody said thank you. Like, say it back. Yeah. It's like, if you can't bring yourself to that, quit the fucking job and just move on. Give the opportunity to somebody else. There's something out there that you love and you will be great at. And you said it before. This industry is not for everybody. And if you know that, just get the fuck out of the way, dude. Because it ain't worth putting yourself through this. Because, yeah, you're not going to find any glory in this industry. You know, it's a grind. It's hard work. It can be a nightmare at sometimes. But it taught me a lot of things that have enabled me to do what I do today as a business owner. That's the truth.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
I think one of the biggest things it's taught me is reading people. I think that has been one of the biggest.
I always read people.
But the quickness that we can do it, and it's boom right there. You can tell what's going to happen in the next hour, you know, just by, you know, being around it for so much. And I think that high energy bar nightlife, just getting your ass kicked behind the bar for 3 hours, taught me more than the time I spent in college, my degree, anything. I learned more from being behind that bar than I did in anything else I've done in my life.
Yeah, like you said, it's, you know, you're dealing with human emotions, which is probably what makes the job so difficult, right? We can't predict those. It's a challenging environment, but, you know, if your eyes are open, if you're paying attention, if you're finding some passion along the way in that job, like I always used to say, I'm going to leave this industry, but I will take something from this industry to my next venture. Like, I wasn't going to be that guy that like left bartending to go do real estate. You know what I mean? Like, that wasn't going to be my thing. Like,
we know a lot of those people.
Take the skill set and transfer it into something that I could do myself. And that idea literally happened because I was at my best friend's wedding. Right. So I was at my best friend's wedding in San Diego, and like I'm standing at I'm sober for most of the day, which was annoying. And then when I finally go to get a drink, it was like a single file line in two corners of the room to get to like a plastic acrylic bar with like Amstel Light, Heineken, Jack and Coke, fucking vodka soda. And I was just like, this is fucking ridiculous, because I knew how expensive this wedding was. And I just couldn't believe that this was such an overlooked factor. Right. So it made no sense to me. Like, If anyone needs a reminder, I'll remind you, because I used to throw ragers when I was in fucking high school. Good music and booze. That's what makes a party, everybody. But if you want to keep focusing on the fucking lights and the goddamn dance floor and the centerpiece arrangements and the food, has to be immensely decadent, or the dessert stations, which is great because nobody fucking touches those because everyone's trying to lose weight. Everyone's on fucking some sort of GLP or whatever the fuck it is. So it's like, it's comical, like even I've been doing this so long. It's just interesting how people will still call me for a wedding like 2 months out. Because now it's time to talk about the bar, and you're like, okay, so I'm the last vendor in the budget. That's
You're
interesting.
and they think
right?
you're just serving drinks, and that's all you got to do. Show up, pour a Jack and Coke, and
Fucking
you're
crazy, man. Yeah, it's crazy. But again, we live in an aesthetically driven world, so even the planners in my industry, a lot of it tends to be the same, right? Like what they're most interested in is not necessarily always delicious cocktails, because those photos don't always sell to the next customer. It's the floral arrangements, it's the decor, it's the lights, because those photos, they sell to the next lady, right?
But
So
it's funny. You
I get
remember.
it.
You remember the alcohol. You remember the food. You remember the time.
Well,
you
you
don't
just
remember the
having
flow
a good
range.
time.
Yeah.
That's what you remember. You just remember having a good fucking time. And I'm not saying we need to be drunk to have a good time, but have you ever, you ever remember just having an absolutely shit time getting drunk with your friends? Like, no. I mean, I can remember paying the price for it the next day, but even in my most blacked out fucking moments, I would still be in pain the next day, looking back at the day before, saying like, well, it was a good time. Like so it's just strange, but we all want to create this world where, I don't know, apparently we go to bars and we spend $20 for non-alcoholic fucking mocktails. Fuck that idea. Fuck that idea. That's what I'm saying. Okay, I'm not going to bars to drink mocktails. So, fuck your mocktails.
I honestly think this product though for bars, I think you're onto something. And who are you using to distribute that on the restaurant end?
So I'm talking to a few people. I had a call with Reyes yesterday. I talked to Mr. Greens a little bit as well, back up months ago. But right now, I'm not really focused on the distributor, because obviously I'm just doing local right now anyway, right? With this, you want to dominate a local market, right? So Orlando, down through the Keys. That's where I'm going every week, taking meetings, country clubs, hotels, bars, restaurants, you name it.
Can we add New Smyrna in that demographic?
I mean, we're Orlando.
We're in New Smyrna.
We're the Orlando market.
Yeah. So I am looking to get distribution at some point for sure. But right now in the beginning stages, when you're doing CPG products, you guys probably know this from the tequila, you spend a shitload of money up front.
Yep.
And you gotta wait months and months and months to get that money back, right? So one thing that lessens the impact of that and enables me to keep going is not focusing on distribution right now, where I'm just gonna lose 25%. I'm gonna wait 60 days to get paid, right? Like now I can make product, go deliver it, and get fucking check on delivery, right? So it just helps me move things along a little bit more. But I am looking to get distributors. I don't know exactly who that'll be right now, but whoever I feel is the right fit, and whoever obviously has the refrigerated trucks to move our shit around. Because I do want this to be everywhere. I want this to be across the fucking nation and in liquor stores. But everything's it's a process, right? You got to take everything in little increments for sure.
I don't know but the beer company might be a good one. Beer's refrigerated.
Yeah, so
and our beer distributors started.
RNDC also does. RNDC and Reyes, they're the same company now, and they do a lot of beer as well. So yes, they have those refrigerated trucks. It's a good pivot, obviously.
Our Daytona Beverage started doing that. They started selling liquor and products. They were pushing it more than Southern and some of these other ones.
Yeah. So it's and I was just reading yesterday, like Southern Glazer Wine and Spirits is now changing their name, right? So they're no longer going to be Wine and Spirits. They're going to be Southern Glazer Beverage Co.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting, but I think that's because of the RTD market, the THC market, all these things, right? So a little bit of a shift away from some of the hard alcoholic spirits into other things.
Southern was one of the first ones to get into the THC things. Like they invested a lot of their liquid cash flow that they had, and they invested that into THC and up in Canada, because when it goes legal federally, they're going to be one of the first ones that can jump on it. They're going to be ahead of everybody else. But I still think that's years away.
That's kind of my theory as well, and that's why I think that you're seeing a lot of this right now with the changing of the name. I also think that's why, like, some of these because I think it's like right now in November, right? The Farm Act is technically expired, right? Because they voted on this last year. So, and that was one of my theories of why I thought that they did this. I thought that they did this because they wanted to slow down the market, to give the big distribution companies the ability to get everything figured out, because they can't keep those THC products in the same warehouse as they can with alcoholic fucking spirits. So they got to figure that all out logistically, so that once again, the power can be put back in the fucking hands of the major distribution companies, and then fucking everybody will be back to having to deal with the same bullshit 3-tier system to move your fucking product through the country.
Yep,
You know,
fuck the little guy
that's
always.
what I think it is, and I think we're now just starting to see that play out.
Yep. Now, I know we're running short on time, but I want everyone to figure out how they can find you and how they can get this product, because I want to figure out how we can get this and make a little craft cocktail menu on our drink menu.
Some
and
tequilas
use this
with
in
it,
our
yeah.
place too.
Yeah, so it's actually it's you know I have a lot of really good relationships with different brands, and I think that's kind of one of the more interesting places for it. You guys constantly have to do events. You got to do activations. A lot of brands do spirit tastings in liquor stores, right? It's just kind of what they do. You know, liquid to lips, right? Like I said, it's a very well-known old school method, and that's how a lot of these brands have to do it. But you don't have in-house mixologists. I'm sure you guys do not want to be coming up with Chat GPT or Google fucking recipes.
No.
Figuring that out yourself. With the fluctuating costs of produce in this country, it'd be very difficult to do it at a reasonable price. I do this at volume, so it's just different because I buy shit in bulk, so I can negotiate those prices. And again, just easy, right? Because a lot of times you guys will probably have to do your events with makeshift staff. And so how do you get them to make a consistently good cocktail? Something like this, because it's just 2 measurements, ounce and a half, ounce and a half. So how they can find us is a couple ways. Obviously, the syrups are easy, right? Because everybody's got Amazon. Everyone's got Amazon on their phone. You probably have a Prime account. You go to Amazon, Craft Cartel syrups, right? Or follow us on Instagram. You know, I post almost daily. Anytime I'm doing anything with cocktail mixers, syrups, I'm always posting about it, giving people updates, like when we do sales on Amazon, when we release new flavors, etc. So I'm always sharing information there. There's also Link Me right in my bio, so you can literally just click that link in my Instagram bio and you'll see it right there, Amazon store, right? So just take you right to the store. And then for the 750 milliliters, the best way too is basically just to reach out to us. Again, I have people reach out to me on Instagram all the time. LinkedIn is probably, ironically, one of the places that I will get a lot of meetings and traffic just because the way that people operate on LinkedIn, right? It's very business driven. And then just through our website, right? So people can send an inquiry to us. It'll always go to my email and my assistants. We can schedule a call. We can drop off products for people to try. You know, if people are local, I'll usually schedule meetings, come out, do a tasting, you know, bring my tools, the mixers, even a couple bottles of liquor, shake up a couple cocktails. If it's a day and a time, you can consume a couple cocktails. Otherwise, we'll just pour them up and have you try. And so, yeah, that's usually the best way to reach us, via email, through the website, or on social media. And if you're looking for syrups, just straight to Amazon, and on our Instagram profile, the Link Me will have links directly to all of those things. Our website, Amazon store, Shopify store, you name it.
Awesome. Well, Richie, we appreciate you coming on the show. We'll get with you after the show too, because I'd love to have this in our bar too.
Yeah, I would love for you guys to have it in your bar as well.
This would be an awesome product to kind of have in there. So
yeah, it's like I said, it's something kind of, it's new. It's kind of one of its kind, at least for now. I'm sure in a few years someone will come up and copy what we do, but that's okay. That'll be a flattering moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, appreciate you coming on the show, and you know, next time you're in the Orlando market, hit us up. Let's get together.
Actually, I'm going to be in Orlando on Monday this week.
Okay, cool.
I'm actually going to Orlando because I have a local guy up there. Shout out Richie Moniz. I'm actually going up there because I'm dropping off a bunch of product to him. He's going to be kind of like my guy in Orlando who is helping move a lot of the product. He has a lot of connections. He'll do a lot of tastings for people up there, so I'm not driving 3.5 hours every time to do that. Orlando is an area we are absolutely trying to move product to. Ricky has a lot of connections, so I met him on a tequila brand trip. He's a great guy. Also does his own consulting, runs his own bar program. So he's implementing this in a few places that he already runs. And so he also has cold storage. He also has a local distributor up there who wants to have a conversation next week. So we may be in Orlando very soon, but I will physically be there in person on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. I'll be doing water parks with my kids. So.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, let's try and get together in that time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be meeting up with Ricky real brief on Monday, so we can touch base, and maybe I can meet up with you guys and hand off some product to you guys so you can try it out.
Awesome.
That'd be great.
Appreciate it, Richie.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.
You too.
Bye.
All right, fellas.
This episode brought to you by Stir Hospitality.
Go to stirhospitality.com if you are a new restaurant
If you're a restaurant that is not seeing the profits that you used to,
Bar and nightclub.
bar and nightclub too, they will get you back in the black. StirHospitality.com.